Neil said, I walk into a place and like my kids used to walk behind me and they say, we just want to see how many people look at you, Daddy.
Yeah.
You know, and just like, wow, look at that. What is that? This dude thought I had a piece of meat on the table. He was looking at my forearm. I said, no, it's my arm. He said, oh, I was trying to figure out if they sell that here, I want that.
You guys are cannibal. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of The Creative Businessmen. Today we have a good friend of mine, Michael Broadway, on the show with us. He's an IFBB pro bodybuilder. He's also an incredible fitness trainer and entrepreneur. I think you guys will enjoy the episode. We did. And be sure to like and subscribe. We appreciate the support. Here you go.
So when did you guys meet?
I met Mike in, I think it was 2004.
2004.
Yeah, at Nautilus Gym in Ashboro. Yeah.
Yeah. So were you already body guy working out all the time?
I mean, I was working out all the time. I was in pretty decent shape, but no ideas of competing or anything. And Mike was actually the first bodybuilder I'd seen in person. And I was like, wow, this guy's a freak.
Yeah.
You just don't see people like that.
Walking around day to day.
Yeah.
That's what I always say
life.
about like athletes, you know, like people always watch on TV and they complain and all that. But it's like, if you see that motherfucker in real life, that's a whole different thing, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You know,
yes,
I remember the first time I ever saw I saw Charles Barkley and I was like, that guy's the size of a door. You know what I mean? It's wild to me.
Right.
I didn't know humans existed like that.
Right.
So it's a wild thing to see. So when you see him bodybuilding, you guys you start hanging out, talking, training?
Yeah, well, I approached him to ask him some questions about how he trains and stuff like that. And also to compliment him because, like I said, you don't see people like that very often. Yeah. And I'd never really met a bodybuilder. I knew a lot of guys that trained hard and worked out and they're in good shape, but it was like a different level. And
it's like he was scared to come up and talk to me.
Yeah,
yeah.
Intimidating. But then he was a nice dude, so it was cool. And then we would just have great conversations, became friends, and then
my wife at the time was scared that I was going to start dating him. She was like, "You always talking to him at the gym. He need to pay you."
There you go. Yeah. And then you started competing after that?
Yeah, well, he told me I should give it a shot, and I did. Eventually, it was a couple years later.
Yeah.
2007, he trained me for my first competition, the Elite Muscle Classic in Greensboro. It was Quincy show. Quincy
Roberts.
Yeah, Quincy Roberts show.
Right.
And it was at the time it was the best show in the state.
Yeah.
And so I won the heavyweight novice and overall novice in that show.
You look good. He looked good, man. Like I say, it was easy to convince him because he was already in that mindset.
This is, like you said earlier, you know, when you get somebody, they got to be on board and ready to go and malleable, you know?
Yeah, he was already into the food, definitely into the lifting. Never did any cardio, but that was okay.
Yeah.
I did that eventually, yeah.
Is there, so, you know, you with bodybuilding and the breakdancing and stuff, you got all the flexibility and all that.
Yeah.
Is that I have this memory of bodybuilders not necessarily being not functional athletes,
Right.
but prone to injuries when they would do other things with the flexibility and all that. Is that why cardio is so important?
Well, that's just a part of the sport, the cardio is. You're not going to get the grainy, dry look just dieting and training. So that's the purpose of the cardio. It's just to change the look of the muscle.
When you talk a look of the muscle and when you're bodybuilding and you're being judged on the different categories, what are the things? So, you know, you're obviously looking to make fucking changes that I wouldn't even be able to spot, right. You know what I mean? And manipulate your body into certain ways. What are you being judged on when you get into these competitions? What are the things? Well,
since they got so many different divisions, but still it's about muscularity, conditioning, balance, and posing. You definitely got to be able to present what muscle you have on your body. So, and those are crucial. I mean, the definition, balance. If you're doing bodybuilding, it's definitely balance.
Yeah. From
your toes up, it's about balance. They got the category men's physique is more about from the torso up. And now they got men's physique where the body, they still doing bodybuilding poses, but they're not as big. They're more about aesthetics. And this is a big change up now where Me and Neil was competing back in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s. Now in the late 2000s, it has totally changed. They changed the game so much that you get these guys, they're big, they're cut, I mean, and they're shredded.
What are the
Men's Physique came out in was it 2012 maybe?
Yeah.
It's like the year after I competed,
Yeah.
my last show, and then because I would have probably competed in Men's Physique and then probably Classic Physique,
in Classic,
which is more like the bodybuilders from the 70s.
Gotcha.
And it's fun, man. Bodybuilding is just one of these things. It's not like going out to bowl. You just can't pick it up and go and go with it, because your mindset has to be on go every time. I mean, you go home, you're thinking about food, you're thinking about working out.
It sounds to me like we were talking a little bit about this last night outside the comedy club. There's certain things that are kind of sacrifice passions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The things where you have to sacrifice to be good at it. And it sounds like you started those sacrifices pretty early, and they're just now a lifestyle, right?
Yes, it's a big lifestyle change. I always ask people what is their passion for when they come to me wanting to do a show. What is your passion for wanting to do this? Now, if you want to, like I talked to a female, if your husband telling you you're fat, this is not the way to go.
Right.
You want to have to do this for you, not for somebody else, because it's not going to last long. Because it's so aggressive and so evasive toward changing your body. Like, I had a dude just probably 2 months ago. He wanted to do this show, the Elite Classic. He lost 40 pounds in 2 months.
Wow.
So I'm just telling you, it's like his mindset was there, you know, for you to lose 40 pounds in 60 days.
Yeah.
You got to be somewhere else thinking all the time and doing cardio all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it is so crucial to that body change. You know,
it's painful. Also, with the thing about bodybuilders getting injured when they do other things, the reason that happens is because there's a lot of bodybuilders that are really good athletes.
Yeah.
But if you're training for bodybuilding, you're training really hard. You know,
all
5-6 days a week,
all the time.
Yeah, constantly.
So your body's not. Your body has just enough time to recover before the next workout.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's overtrained to be doing sport type activities, like physical activities like that.
Overtrain, overload. You get some. This sport is full of a lot of athletes. Bodybuilding is, because now you're looking at a lot of guys that used to play football.
Yeah.
Now they're bodybuilding because they wasn't big enough to continue that professional level, but bodybuilding opened them an avenue of where they can exploit different things about their body. And I'm telling you, that workload every day is hard.
Has the I know with you know, basketball and football athletes, they talk constantly about how the recovery process has changed over the last decade or so. Is that something you've noticed? Or
bodybuilding just has its own set rules. Like when I tell somebody they have 3 days to recover. So if I work chest on Monday, you can't work chest Tuesday or Wednesday. Thursday would be the next time you work that muscle. It's got to recover because it's so hard. That the workout is so aggressive.
Yeah.
And it only takes one person to go through one workout to see exactly the change in what happens to the body and how much work it takes mentally just to pull through it, you know, because I can tell you want to do 4 sets, 15 reps at 80% of your weight, your lifting weight. You'll look at somebody like, man, they crazy. That is crazy, because you should be doing that about 70%. We're doing it at 80 and 85%.
just pushing a little bit.
Just pushing, thresholds. Every day there's going to be a threshold broke.
When you talk about the mental work of that, what all goes into? I mean, is that just the discipline, or is it?
Man,
how are you getting through when you're in the middle of this thing that you know is pushing you at those boundaries? So what's in your brain to get to the thing? Is it just this fucking passion and desire that you can't get past?
You know, it's so crazy. I used to say to guys, you know, we doing all this for a trophy. There was no part of gold at the end of this rainbow. It's just another dumbbell.
Yeah.
You know, so Neil's been through it, and I just that like, you always mess with a psycho. You're always messing with your psycho when you're bodybuilding. You're always trying to talk yourself over that next great workout. You know, and it doesn't have to be heavy, but it's that endurance part that you threshold breaking every time.
It's gonna be intense.
It's intense.
But I think, you know, for me, it was always, and even training now, which I can't right now because my arms hurt, but it's always been, for me, it's sort of a way to control my mind. You know, and bodybuilding was a great way to control my mind because it required so much of my attention and focus, and it was encompassing, and it just it really kept my mind disciplined, and it helped me in other areas of my life too. So in business and work and stuff like that, it actually made me better in those areas because my mind was clear, and
it's meditative almost. Right?
It's a challenge. Yeah, it's a constant challenge. The diet, the training was fun for me.
Yeah,
but the
diet part with the training.
Yeah, always hungry.
Yeah,
like always hungry, and just accepting that as just a part of your life, and not letting it change your mood or.
Yeah, you wake up every morning hungry. You go to bed hungry. You're every 2 hours you're hungry. I mean, ain't a time that you're not hungry, but when you look in the mirror and see the work that you have done, that keeps driving you. That keeps driving you all the way. And I tell people the only thing that's going to happen, you have to see a change to buy into what we're doing.
Right.
You know, because if they don't see a change, they quit on themselves because mentally they can't break through that part, man, where you got to keep working. Because that's when we give you 12 weeks or 16 weeks. If I didn't want to see you change, I'd give you, okay, let's do this for 3 weeks. There's no way you're going to be ready for no bodybuilder showing them 3 weeks, man.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, bodybuilding is an interesting craft too. It's kind of it's kind of like an analytical art form, you know, and I've always been an artist, you know, when I was, my whole life, been into being creative, drawing, painting, creating things. And bodybuilding was sort of like an extension of that. It was still a creative endeavor because you're just molding your body in a certain way. But genetics do play a big role in that, and I realized early on that I didn't think I had the genetics to reach a professional level in bodybuilding. I could be a good amateur bodybuilder, and I won some shows, but to take it to that next level, I would have had to have, you know, I was 240 at my biggest at under 5% body fat. So for a human, I was a big dude
and tall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 6'1". Yeah.
No, I couldn't keep the women away from him.
But
it's like he's married.
But to be a professional bodybuilder at my height, I would have to be like 300 pounds off season at least.
What was the biggest you ever were?
230.
230.
Yeah, 5'5".
Yeah, which is massive. So it was enormous.
That's wild.
But he also has, you know, the guys that make it to the pro level, they have more muscle fibers than most humans, the larger muscle bellies, and like exceptionally larger muscle bellies than most humans. And then, so when I did my last show in 2011, I was going to try to go up to. My goal was to hit the top of the heavyweight class. So I was competing at 208, so I wanted to compete my next show at 225, and then go into super heavies at maybe 240 or something. And I hurt myself, had a small quad injury after that last show, and then I was like, maybe I should back off a little bit because I'm too busy to really give it all the focus I need. And then I got into acting, and I thought, well, acting is an art form that I can do that's sustainable for me, and something I can. There's no ceiling on that for me. You know, it's not dependent on your physical capabilities and stuff as much. So actually, I ended up losing weight. Well, I initially lost weight because I lost my leg, but after that, it made more sense to just be fit and healthy and just pursue acting. And I think it was a better choice for me because I didn't have the genetics to.
Right. What does the passion and discipline that you have for bodybuilding translate to other areas of your life? Is there anything that you just as much into as that, or is that's the main thing? And then is there anything else that you're passionate about?
I don't know, man.
I mean, it'd be the level of breakdancer that you were. That's another thing.
We talked about some stuff, man. Neil and I, we did, and I don't know, going into comedy.
Yeah.
Just something that I feel like
might hit you.
and I hate to say this because it's like somebody would normally say, people think I'm funny.
Yeah.
But they're like, you can get somewhere and be somewhere, and somebody like, man, that's the worst joke ever.
Yeah. Hey,
But you're a funny dude.
Being funny around your family and being funny in front of strangers is different, but it does translate a good amount of the time. Have you ever done comedy? Just think about it.
No, just thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think I went on this acting site. I did some stuff on there just to try to get coaching and stuff. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's about far as this one.
So your discipline in training and competing in bodybuilding and stuff like that, it does translate into your business though.
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
You've ran a lot of successful businesses, and also you've trained a lot of successful athletes too, like just regular athletes.
Regular athletes, NFL players. I don't call myself a bodybuilding trainer anymore.
Okay.
I'm a lifestyle coach now.
Yeah.
Where regular people come see me. That's where my business is at. And I've been doing this for a long time, so it has to be that bodybuilding gave me the discipline to stay focused on this.
Mm-hmm.
And because I hadn't done anything else, Neil's known me for over 20-something years. So only thing I've ever done was, other than being a cop for a short bit of time, bodybuilding has been, and training has been that. And it just definitely, the discipline from bodybuilding has kept me disciplined to my work. When I go into somebody's gym and running a business, when I see something that's not right, I say, I would have done it this way. And they can't say that I had failed businesses because I sold them all.
Right.
And I didn't go like, I had to close my gym because I didn't have any clients. Dude, I was gone from Greensboro for 2 years, came back and picked up the same clients within 6 months. I was already had a full deck of clients again. So and people see my motivation to want to see people change. So definitely.
Where does that come from, the motivation to want to see people change? Is that you wanted yourself to be better, so you see that for everybody, or what is it?
Man, just the enjoyment to see. Just like when I seen Neil on stage, man, it was like
satisfaction.
It was like me up there.
Yeah, I get that.
But he enjoyed the moment of the time that we spent together.
Yeah.
And that's what's important to me. I'm a family guy, so
Okay.
My group of guys, I don't want to call them a team, but the clients that I had, we were like a family, dude. It's like I knew stuff about them, they knew stuff about me, and we really focused on making sure they could be the best that they could be. And that's all I focused on was, when I zoomed in on him, I said, this dude is going to be really good. All he's got to do now is just start to grow, because he's got the mindset. He's not going to be hard to deal with. When you get people that hadn't been coached, it's hard trying to talk to them and get them to buy into what you're doing. Because I tell people, I hypnotize people and into what I want them to do. Because if you're not doing what I want you to do, it's not going to benefit us being together.
When I first started training with Mike for my first show, I started training with you in 2006. So it was a year before I competed. And he's like, your legs are too small. We're gonna have to really hit your legs hard. So I would drive up to High Point, to the old Gold's Gym in High Point, every week for leg day, and he would just destroy my leg. We checked my heart rate.
I love that laugh he just gave.
I was like, dude, I think I might die. I think we should check my heart rate. And he got this thing out, and I checked my heart rate, and it was like 200. It was like really, I mean, that's about almost the max. The max is like 220.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, let's take a break real fast. And then,
real fast.
But when I would leave there after training legs with him, I would have to sit in my truck for 30 minutes just to not throw up on myself.
Yeah.
And just turn the air up and just sort of lay back and try to relax. And I couldn't even drink my protein shake. And I couldn't walk. Like it was like the baby deer walk.
Yeah.
And they would always say in the gym, man, you might want to check on your boy. He's still sitting out there in his truck.
But it worked though.
Yeah.
It worked. I mean, my legs went from like, I don't know, probably 21 inches or something to 29 inches over a couple of years.
Do you think that's why the businesses and the training has been so successful? If you're coming from a place of, you're getting joy out of their other people's accomplishments. It's a great, starting from that. That's the start of a good team. You know?
And just seeing people's face to see that they overcame something that they say they couldn't. Like I had a dude tell me he could never lose weight. He was 5'4", 260 pounds. 7 months later, he was 220. So I told him, I said, don't ever tell me you can't do anything because it's all a mindset.
So are you doing, do you do a good bit of training outside of, muscle building for weight loss and things like that?
I have more weight loss clients than I do bodybuilders.
Really? Okay.
And I would prefer to have the lifestyle weight loss people versus a bodybuilder.
Okay.
Half of them broke. and and then they don't want to do some of the stuff you're asking them to do.
Yeah.
I don't need you questioning me because I've done it 100 times over.
Yeah, I know it works.
I know it works.
Yeah.
I mean, my system works. You just got to buy into that system.
So I always tell people when they were new, I would be like, look, there's 100 different ways to do it. But if Mike's training you, just do what he tells you. Don't let other people confuse you. Just
get all
stay on the path. And then if you want to do a different path next time, just finish this one and then try something else
at
next
least you
time.
have that in your toolkit.
Yeah.
That's how I feel when I'm trying to tell people how to be funny. I'm like, just fucking listen.
Just be funny.
Just be funny. It's super easy.
Yeah. And the thing what I felt was like when I talked with Neil and Colin also about this is I'm on the learning side of comedy. I'm on the teaching side of weightlifting.
Right.
I know when to shut up.
Yeah.
And say, okay, we'll try it your way because evidently you're funny.
Yeah.
It
would be an interesting thing to see on stage. Especially watching Neil do it because he's a pretty disciplined dude. As far as comics go, incredibly disciplined because we are not a disciplined bunch.
A lot of lunatics.
But it is an interesting idea, the crossover that would happen. Do you think there's this is a thing that Neil's running into now with him doing comedy? He's been doing it a few years now, and whenever I start a comedy, whenever I see other fucking savage lunatics start it, they're just like all the way in on it. But being a completely formed, fully grown human being who has a life and businesses and relationships that he cares about, it's a different approach that he has. So it would be interesting to see you and what sacrifices you would make and could make.
I still have all that trauma though underneath it all.
Yeah.
And he's got plenty of that too. He grew up poor too, just like me.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm hungry to an extent that I know you have to sacrifice. It's always a sacrifice to be great.
At anything.
If you want to be average, you're going to be shitty, but you're going to be average. I don't want to be average at anything I do.
Yeah.
The stuff that I teach my daughters, like we teach our daughters, is they'll never grow up being average.
Yeah.
Like right now, I keep telling my daughter, be a leader. Don't follow none of the other kids because there's a hole you're going to go in, you can't get out with them. But if you create your own hole, at least you know how to get out of it. So, and that's how I am in life, man. Just trying to figure it out, talk to good people. I trust Neil with my life. You know what I'm saying? Like my brother passed away. That dude there was one of the first people to come see me. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of stuff behind why I do what I'm wanting to do in comedy. And some of it's just personal stuff with my family. Like my mom passing away, my brother passing away, and never gonna get to see me be funny. Other than we sitting at the table.
Yeah, but you've always been funny.
You know what I'm saying? They telling me, you need to stop. You need to stop being funny. And it's like,
so you said you was
two of Mike's brothers were competitive bodybuilders too, and actually Steve would have been a professional for sure.
Yeah. And my little brother, he's over in Dubai. He's a CrossFit coach there.
Okay.
So he teaches CrossFit. And
Dubai is a giant metropolis now, right?
Yeah. He's not in this
business
country.
is good over there.
Yeah. Yes, it is. He ain't been home in 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
He's a resident now.
Yeah, he's a resident. Yes, sir.
He's doing pretty well,
look,
right?
Hey, look, got kids.
Yeah.
Whole family to create a village. I'm just like,
Yeah.
like, how many kids you have? God dang.
Oh, yeah. You said you're a cop for a little while.
Yeah, in
Is it
Salisbury.
Salisbury.
Yeah, it's too much.
Was that before or after, during the bodybuilding?
Man, I've been training, even when I was a cop, I was training. There was a gym in Lexington called Sidekick Gym. I ran that gym when I got off work. I went there, worked out, stayed there. I was taking ephedrine and caffeine to stay awake, you know. So it's just been a young cop. And being in a black neighborhood, policing a black neighborhood was not my thing. I got in the wrong department, and it kind of like messed me up psychologically with wanting to be a cop.
Gotcha.
Because if that was going on, I know it's going on everywhere. So I didn't give them nowhere close to the discipline as a cop that I did for what I do now.
Yeah, you weren't into it.
Wasn't
You
into
recognized pretty early that
Yes,
it wasn't
sir.
for you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And is that when you started training people?
Yeah, I was
Training other
doing that at the same time.
Okay.
I was like simultaneously. When I went to work, I trained people at that gym. People I still know today, you know, and so.
You used to train people at who's the famous wrestler? His old gym used to be here.
Ric Flair.
Ric Flair, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Did you know Ric Flair?
I met Ric Flair. I knew Ricky Steamboat more than anybody because we were at his school up in
The Dragon.
in Charlotte.
Okay.
Because me and my brother wanted to be a tag team champions.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, probably could have done it with the bodies, man.
Well, he was a wrestler.
Yeah,
we talked a little bit about that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was just like, I had an opportunity, man. It's like with my mother, man, she just like, you go for it. You just never hold yourself back from yourself, you know, and she took us out of a bad situation, and that was probably my biggest fan was my mom, you know what I'm saying? So
just supporting
and she supported me, and like when I would go somewhere, first person I would call, Mom, I won this show. You did. God bless the word. Lord have mercy. You know, she's just a good Christian woman, man, just believed in her son. And everybody say, well, you were the favorite. I say, I don't know about all that, but I know I worked with my mom while I have the work disciplines from her.
Okay.
Because at 13, I was working in the restaurant, washing dishes with her. And I would get up in the morning, go to work with her, come back home. And that's some of the discipline was from her. And just staying focused, like just stay focused on what you're going to do and don't stop trying to be the best that you can be, you know, no matter what no one else says.
And she saw that in you guys.
Oh, yeah.
She wanted different for you than she got?
Well, she kicked us out of the house because we were slamming weights in the house.
Yeah. When she saw you guys starting to pile the mattresses and pole vault with bamboo, she was all about it?
She was all about it, man.
Yeah.
She knew, like, our whole little neighborhood was family. So it was all cousins and stuff like that. And we all were, like, pole vaulting and stuff, man. I'm just like,
oh, that's right. You were a really good pole vaulter.
yeah, I would live the crazy life, man, as a kid. And like we always say, man, we could have been dead.
Yeah.
At 13.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that was going on in our life. My dad was a crazy, rejected Navy SEAL, had all this craziness in his head. My dad came in the house, hit and shot the gun in the ceiling. Pow! And it's like, I'm the devil. Okay, I'm going to church Sunday. I'm going to pray because I am living with the devil. And it's that stuff that's growing up and seeing that, man. It's like, I don't ever want to be like this with my kids or my friends.
Yeah.
Like he was just, I didn't use the word evil, man.
He's a veteran?
He got a dishonorable discharge. And I don't know if I ever told you the story about my dad getting a dishonorable discharge from the, he was in California coming back from Mexico. He had bought a knife. He came across the border and some white guys started harassing him. And he about killed 3 guys, man. And, you know, like I tell everybody back in that day, the reason he got the dishonorable discharge and wasn't in prison, number one, they had witnesses. But in that era, a black man does not touch a white man.
Right, yeah.
And so they ejected him. And the worst thing my uncle said could happen to my dad was he got sent back home.
Right. Because now he's got that brain full of all of that.
Now all that anger and dude, I'm talking about my dad was always angry. I felt like he was always angry. I don't think I seen my dad laugh at nothing other than with his drunk friends. You know what I'm saying? When he was drunk is when he was laughing.
The only time he could relax.
And then he taught us how to fight. And then he taught us rules to fighting in school.
Is that why you think you seem like a pretty jovial dude?
My mom.
Your mom. Yeah. Going the opposite.
I am all her. I am all her, bro. Like, you could do something to me. I might not say nothing, but I don't have to talk to you anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't have to create any big scene because of it. And I always tell people, like, I don't believe in turning the other cheek, but I'll turn around and walk away. Yeah. Now, if you follow me, then we got a problem. You know? So, and that's the stuff, how she just, because I see my mom, man, I don't know. Wasn't nothing but white people help my mom. I can't even have a precious bone in my body because I got to see it all. No one else seen it but me because I was at work with her. How these dudes would come out of the restaurant into the kitchen and give her money because they enjoyed the meal that they had. They know she cooked that meal. And so, and I just got the opportunity to see white from a different view than everybody else, you know. I like Donald Trump. I don't have any problem with him.
How do you stay so disciplined when your mom's such a good cook? How do you stay so disciplined with the food, man?
She would cook me a different meal.
Really?
Yep.
That's a good mother.
And I'm going to tell you about a banana pudding. Now, she make the greatest banana pudding. But when she didn't want me to eat it, she would make that cold banana pudding, the one you put in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
She knew I didn't like that.
Yeah.
She said, Michael's on his diet. Just the banana pudding y'all going to get.
Yeah, looking out for you.
As soon as I came off that diet, there was a hot banana pudding. So, you know.
She's a great cook, too.
She was a great cook, man. She really did, man. She kept me in line for sure, you know, because I could have been one of the more roughnecks, man. I really could.
Yeah, it's real easy. The line between two different lives is.
That's right, because we were out one night, got in some trouble, came back home. The whole family knew about it. She said, if you don't quit hanging around your brothers, you're going to end up either dead or in prison. It wasn't no in between.
Yeah.
That got me right there.
Yeah.
I said, I'm done. I said, the one thing I never want to do is disappoint her. And that's the reason everything I did was always in the eyes of my mom, because I knew that she really did love what I was doing for other people, you know, and because she did it. You know, she cooked for all. That's what she retired as, to cook, you know. And I tell everybody, I say, I learned everything from her. I said, I can be an evil bastard, but boy, I'll be the nicest one you ever see. You know, and it's just, that's all the discipline, man.
Yeah, man.
So, and then just knowing this guy here, I mean, I don't know. I think Neil came around in my life probably right at the right time, because I really wasn't training that much. And just him talking to me and telling me, like, dude, you're good, man. Dude, you really need to do this full time. You really need to, you know what I'm saying? This conversations, you know, this dude didn't have nothing, man. When I met him, he had a townhouse.
Yeah.
And working for this dude, walking around bullying people for their money. And that's it, man. And he just stayed in my ear, you know.
It's important to meet people who encourage you, especially at the right moments.
I really did, man, because I'm telling you, where I was in Asheboro, I wasn't in a good place. I wasn't in a good place work-wise, you know.
Well, you had just came out of, when I first met you, you and your brother Steve had just competed in the, what show was it?
Nationals.
Yeah, it was one of the big, which one was it?
It was the Nationals in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, yeah, and you guys placed?
Yeah, I placed 6th at that show.
Okay, well, there was one before that then. What was the one that you guys?
North Americans.
Must have been. Did you place first?
I got first, and then Steve placed like 3rd or 4th.
Yeah,
show.
That was it. Yeah.
So I was in Detroit. I won that show. It was funny because in the magazine it said Broadway on Broadway. You know, I was like, man, I headlined the magazine.
Yeah.
And you missed your pro card in that show by like 1 point or something. Right?
Yeah. So what does that mean, pro card?
So to be an IFBB pro, you have to win. You have to win your class, or you have to win the whole show at a national event.
Gotcha.
And it depends on the show. Sometimes.
And then what happens when you get your pro card?
It gets harder.
It gets harder. then you're in there with the Arnolds in them. So
Gotcha.
I mean, it's crazy. It's a crazy business.
Most people that go pro never compete again.
Never compete again.
Really?
I mean,
Is that true?
It's harder to be a professional bodybuilder than a professional golfer.
very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, like you figure out of every state you have 100 guys turning pro.
Yeah.
This use that as a number, and then half of those in your class.
It's more today than it used to be.
Yeah, it's way more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like everything, though, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just it's more available and people know how to do it. So
Right,
it's
yeah.
well, you got a lot more coaches, a lot more people willing to give information.
it's the information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you give
That's
them
it.
information because this sport is still taboo. It's still underground.
Oh, yeah.
Bodybuilding is still underground.
What part of it is the taboo part?
Well, that's one of the things that's attractive about it, though, is it is sort of an underground community. So when you go to shows, you don't really meet a stranger. Everybody's friendly. It is sort of a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, because when I go to shows, it's like a meeting of old men. You know, we all meet and we know each other
And things like race and stuff don't even exist in the bodybuilding world.
because,
Yeah.
I mean, you have so many people that went through the same thing that you went through.
Yeah.
And so when we see each other, it's just like when you see the guys in the NFL, they all loving and hugging on each
It's
other.
a fraternity.
Yeah, it's a different place, man, that a lot of people are not going to understand or go, you know, are not willing to even go. Like, you might have one guy compete one time, and it's like, oh, no, I can't do that, man. That was too much.
Yeah.
I lost my wife over that, you know.
And if you've never been to a bodybuilding show, you should go. It's a fun event. It's a really unique experience because there's nothing else like it.
Yeah, I took a client there, older guy from Jamestown, Mark Phillips. I took him, he was like, are they moving their muscles like that? I said, I never knew you could do that.
What's the underground, the taboo part of it? What the perception of the public towards
Steroids and stuff like that.
Steroids and muscles. People, it's not normal.
No, yeah.
What they see is not normal.
That's the point.
You know, just like Neil said, I walk into a place and like my kids used to walk behind me and they say, we just want to see how many people look at you, Daddy.
Yeah.
You know, and just like, wow, look at that. What is that? This dude thought I had a piece of meat on the table. He was looking at my forearm. I said, no, it's my arm. He said, oh, I was trying to figure out if they sell that here, I want that.
You guys a cannibal.
But it was crazy, man. It's just, you either hear something good or hear something bad. You know, like the first thing somebody want to say to me is, are you on steroids? They don't want to ask me, like, what is my regimen?
Right. Has the perception of that changed at all in the last 10 years or so?
I'd say it's gotten a little better.
With men's physique, it has helped out some because the guys are not as big.
Okay.
And I think people don't care anymore.
Yeah, that's it.
They really don't care.
I think it's been normalized a good bit. I think especially with athletes and all that, right? It used to be, how dare you do this thing to make you do your job better? You know what I mean? Like how you're cheating. It's just like it's just silly.
And you have you tell people you have choices, man.
Yeah, it's a personal choice.
It's a personal choice when it comes to what people do. What did they do to impact your life a negative way that you even care that they're taking steroids?
Yeah.
I said, if this dude running through here knocking stuff down, them not steroids.
Yeah.
He's just crazy.
He's
just a big crazy guy.
Yeah.
You know, and I tell people never let the narrative become about steroids because they will try to pin it on that.
Yeah.
When a guy, like I told Neil, if you're a mean guy, you're going to be worse on steroids.
Yeah.
Is that a little bit of
it magnifies everything?
The thinking behind don't take that gym personality outside the gym?
That's right.
Because they are automatically, they got this thing to blame.
They got this thing to blame.
And they're looking for a reason to.
And anytime something happened around the bodybuilding community, we don't think that.
Right.
But if it gets out like onto the mainstream.
Yeah.
There you go, man.
So.
Oh, holy shit. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, there's a picture of you.
Yeah. I seen that big head guy over there.
How long you been shaving? How long you been bald?
As long as I've known you.
96.
Yeah.
Yeah, by choice.
Yeah.
all your brothers, right?
Yeah.
Was it just the look of it?
It was the look. You remember what's his name? Bedford, Mike Tyson, Mike Bedford or whatever, the model, supermodel.
Yeah.
It was him that started it. You know, he had the bald head. I modeled a little bit for like Hines and all that.
Okay.
And so cutting the hair, put the earring. I had 2 earrings in.
Yeah.
I mean, it was me, man.
Yeah.
But now I'm old.
I guess
It's me old.
Michael Jordan too, I guess.
Michael
back
Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
in the 80s.
But you know, it was a good look. Client said, "Look good on you." And just how they describe me when you're looking for me in the gym. So say you come and look for me.
Yeah.
This is what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
I want to see the guy, the black guy, look like Mr. Clean.
Yeah, I was gonna say Black Mr. Clean.
And that's why they would describe me in the gym.
Yeah. You're in better shape than Mr. Clean, though. You know what I mean?
But he's a big dude, though.
Yeah.
But just having fun, man. I love life, man. I love people that I'm around. Like I say, we never stop talking to each other, no matter how busy this dude gets.
Mm-hmm.
He take the time to let me know where he's gonna be in next. Man, I'm in this movie, man. I can't tell you what it is. But dude, I'm just proud of him, man.
Yeah.
I'm
back
proud
at
of
you.
him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was there when all this happened, you know, when he lost his leg, you know.
Oh yeah.
Came in there, man. This dude, they had him so drugged up. He was talking crazy to us.
What's something I said?
He was, it was crazy because he would say something, he'd fall asleep.
Yeah.
like
a
old
baby
man.
in food. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I would fall asleep like that, it would be like a second,
It was-
and it felt like hours.
And then he wake up. And you know, when y'all go over there, it went right back what we was talking about. And dude, I mean, you know, man, it was God spared the man. He's just a great person, man. I tell you what, you would have had to be there. This dude had to go through everything because he had to have shoulder surgery, all that.
Well, I thought I was going to have to. I didn't have to have shoulder surgery.
Okay.
I stretched the brachial plexus in my shoulder, so they thought I had torn my rotator cuff, like completely separated it, because it wouldn't. I had no strength. I couldn't even close a drawer or pick up a pillow. But it actually healed within like 3 or 4 months after the
superhuman being over there. Yeah, man. He was always like that, though.
That's what's wrong with that's the problem with steroids and growth hormone.
That's right.
Heals things really
Heals
fast.
things really fast.
Yeah.
You know, and it's stuff people are scared. I don't think they're scared to talk about it. They just don't talk about it.
Well, I was just taking a prescription,
you know what I'm saying?
testosterone at the time.
Yeah.
By accident.
And it's crazy. It's crazy sport, man.
Yeah, it does feel like the perception of human growth hormone and steroids and all that has changed over the last couple decades. You know, if you look at the baseball stuff, Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, all that, everybody was up in arms in it. And now it's like it's really not even a part of the conversation. It's like it's kind of understood. If somebody is going to be so dedicated to do this thing at such a high level and it's not hurting anyone else, who actually gives a fuck?
That's right.
It's just it's a bunch of people who can't do the thing and couldn't do it one way or the other. Listen, if nobody in Major League Baseball is on steroids, I still can't hit a curveball. It doesn't fucking matter what I do. You know what I mean?
Or throw one.
Right.
Yeah, or throw one. Yeah.
But also, with the steroids thing, especially in bodybuilding, because on the high levels it does get extreme, and I think the biggest danger is not necessarily what people are taking. It's if your body is that large, like if you're a 300-pound guy, whether you're obese or you're solid muscle, your heart's still the same size, and it's a lot of stress on your body. But that should be the individual's choice. If they're a responsible, productive member of society, let them do what they want to do. It's their body. Let them, and also, that endeavor may be helping them mentally too, and helping other aspects of their lives. And if you can go out and race motorcycles or skydive or free climb, you can climb cliffs with no safety gear.
Yeah.
That's way more dangerous than competing in bodybuilding or taking steroids. And if you're a professional athlete, those guys, they're destroying their bodies. I mean, to push your body through that much stuff constantly, that much physical activity on that level constantly. I mean, you've seen basketball players' feet, like NBA players, their feet are destroyed.
Yeah.
Those guys should be able to take testosterone or growth hormone, in with a doctor's doctor's care, under a doctor's care,
and there's certain levels that they're.
But to help their body recover because they need it, and it's their livelihood.
That's the thing is recovery has become it's become such a mainstream topic of conversation because people are, it used to be when people got into the leagues, they were spending all their money on cars and houses and hookers and drugs. And now they're getting strength coaches and chefs and learning how to recover their bodies from their workouts or their seasons and all of that.
Yeah, because they have to be ready to go.
Yeah, maybe have an age limit on it. You can start having assistance with that sort of stuff. At maybe
I think whatever the choice you make to do the thing that you want to do be good at it. Look, I choose to go do fucking dick jokes because it keeps everybody else around me safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it keeps my mind in check and it gives me something to focus on. And if we're not hurting anybody else, I don't see the issue.
Well, I think in sports you do need to have a standard. I think there has to be because you can't.
You can have health standards if we're in an organization. But
I would say like keeping your testosterone within the normal range. Like the top of the normal range is like 1,000, 1,200. 1,000 to 1,200 is the normal at the top of the normal testosterone range, and if you keep the athletes no higher than 1,000, I think that's reasonable. And
I took a test the other day; it was 7.
Oh, that's bad.
What 7? 7.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out what test did you take? Was it dots?
It's a spelling test. I've never got my testosterone tested. I've never even thought to do it.
It starts to drop usually after 30, 35.
And I usually have all my clients have their blood work done. Every year at the end of their competing, just because your body chemistry changes during the prep and stuff. You're talking about somebody maybe running fat burners and stuff like that, especially females. Get their thyroids checked, make sure their thyroids are still performing like they're supposed to. And that's just a trainer being safe and caring about who they're working with. Because some of them just don't care. They're like, okay, you paid me?
Push past it,
I'm good. You okay? Yeah, okay. Please.
And me just training for health and longevity and just to be fit. I keep my testosterone level stays around 6.5, 650, something like that, 630, 650. And all my other levels are healthy, like great. I even had I had a what is it called, a CT scan done a few months ago to check, just see if I had any plaque in my arteries or anything. Because that is one negative thing about bodybuilding is you have to eat so much. I mean, you eat more. You probably eat 3 years worth of food in a year.
Yeah.
When you were running and gunning at was it 230? You said.
Yeah.
When you were doing that, what was that daily caloric intake? What was your diet?
4,500 to 5,000 calories.
What are you eating?
Everything. I probably take 4 weight gainers a day, shakes a day, along with my food.
Okay.
Each weight gainer is 1,100 calories. So you think if I'm drinking 4 of those, they already get me close to my caloric intake
for the day.
But my food and make sure I kept everything up. I'd rather eat than drink my calories. I'd rather eat my calories.
Okay.
But you can't eat that much food.
Yeah, I've heard stories of.
Now you can.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's tough.
Heard stories of old wrestlers working out and a dozen eggs for breakfast and a couple steaks for dinner and all that. Is that right?
That's true.
Along? Yeah,
that's true. Because you think Michael Phelps was doing 10,000 calories.
Yeah. Well, when I had my CT scan done this year, I had 0 plaque in my arteries and my heart was
Congrats.
Great.
That's good.
See,
right?
Yeah. Because my brother had passed away from aorta. Yeah. They test mine every year. I have the CT scan done every year, and every time I've come back with raving reviews of it.
Well, that's one thing about when you're competing and you're supplementing like that.
Yeah.
You have to be really careful about what you eat because it magnifies everything, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're eating a bunch of bad food, it's going to be hard on your body.
Yeah, because it's a crazy sport, man.
Have you always prioritized your health the way that you do now?
Not me. Because I've been in this thing probably 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
So at one place, over a 5-year span, there was probably no doctor's care, taking that chance, being young.
Yeah.
Number one, being young.
You feel like you're...
And not knowing what you're doing.
Immortal.
Yeah.
He knows more than I ever would have known at 24, 25, 26
Right.
years old. And we're just taking stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, man, I'm getting big. I'm big. God has watched over me.
Yeah, so
survived it.
when I started getting into fitness, I mean, I've worked out since I was a kid.
Right.
My dad got me into lifting weights when I was 8. But when I was probably 21, 22, I started to do a lot of reading. And there's a lot more information available. We had the internet, like the early days of the internet, but you still had access to a lot of information. So it was for me, it was easier to figure out the things I should and shouldn't eat at a young age. So by the time I met him, I was in pretty good shape. I was pretty shredded, but
you look good.
Just not. I was about 190 maybe or something. But so I had an advantage, I think, with that. And then I've just he used to make fun of me because I'd eat so clean.
Yeah, I was like, man, you gotta have something dirty. Get a pizza.
Yeah.
Like,
Is that your go-to food, pizza?
Well, the calories are big.
Yeah,
and you don't have to eat much.
Okay.
Like if you gotta eat 2,000 calories in one meal, get a pizza.
Yeah, see, I'm doing all that just without the working out.
But it's crazy the stuff that we did and didn't have any doctors watching us.
No oversight. Yeah.
We sitting here, we had the underground handbook, and all they did was told you the cycles. You said, I'm gonna do that cycle right there. It says you get big.
Right.
Yeah.
Just seeing the results of those things.
I was never a big taker of it. Like I never went way over above using any of that stuff because I was already big anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't, because when he was talking, I said, man, I'm not doing much because number one, I had to struggle to get back down to these weight classes.
Right.
And it made no sense being at 230.
Yeah.
And I had to come down to 176. No, none at all.
Easier to bulk up or lose weight? Which one's is it
for
fuck
me,
one way or the other?
For me, it was either one of them because I could go, like right now I'm holding at 215 and zero, no cycle at all at 215 pounds. Back 15 years ago, I would have been using something to stay at 215. Gotcha. Yeah. So the body slows down. It's getting older.
So at what age did you start really prioritizing your health and thinking about it in this way? Because you say you're going to get the CTs once a year now and all that.
I'll say 47 because my brother passed away at 49.
Okay. And
that really made me prioritize my health versus bodybuilding. Because you know what? I wasn't winning $400,000 at no bodybuilding show. So it wasn't important to me.
Right.
I just stepped back, took that look back at myself and said, man, if you want to be here for your kids, man, you got to slow down. You got to slow this thing down. And I did, man. I went from these crazy cycles to maybe just a test cycle just to keep my test levels. Because, we get older, like Neil was saying. And I was under doctor's care.
Just being a little more responsible.
Being more responsible and caring about my body. And just like I say, and being under doctor's care, make sure everything was right. Because for 2 years, dude, I was fighting my blood pressure for 2 years to bring it down. And I got it under control. And what Neil was saying about the organs, there's 2 organs that suffer the most, your heart and your kidneys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you don't have 2 kidneys, one go. But it's just
and your liver too. A lot of guys take a lot of oral stuff.
Man,
bad on your liver.
Toxic to your liver and stuff. Yeah. So,
but I would always get 2 physicals a year when I was competing. Yeah, training like that. And then even now, I still have 2 physicals. I have an official physical from my doctor, and then I have blood work done through my hormone clinic.
Well, he was the only one that can afford to do this. I'm just gonna put it out there. But the thing with me was, I was around this dude when he was getting half his stuff done. So I kind of like took on.
Rubs off on you a little bit.
And I was like, man, I got to take care of myself. He got his daughter, he got his wife. I said, I got my daughter, I got my 2 boys. I was like, man, I got to straighten up. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to understand if Neil was calling me Mr. Olympia, dang, there go Broadway, Mr. Olympia. But he won like $500,000 last year. I might have spent $500,000. Yeah. Bodybuilding's expensive.
Yeah, risk versus a reward.
Yeah. And it got to a point, it gets to a point with me, it did, where that risk was not worth anything anymore. It wasn't worth anything.
It's not the same.
It's
Not the same return.
Because I was like gun ho, young. People love seeing me. They invite me to shows. I guest pose, make $300 in 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now it's like that $300 didn't mean shit.
Yeah.
Because
You
now
don't still have that.
you know what I'm saying? That $300 gone.
It's a good
It
posing
gone.
routine, though.
Oh yeah, but it's gone.
Yeah.
But
It is strange that, we were talking about it again last night. We were talking to a buddy. I found out he used to wrestle independently as well. And I was like, how long was the longest drive? And he's like, sometimes 16 hours. And it's like, how much did you make? He said $100. And you should have saw Neil's face. And it is that thing, right? It is that $300. Who gives a fuck about the $300? I'm getting to go do the thing I love to do, and they're gonna give me something. I would have done it for free.
yeah, see,
Well, I didn't even think about the bodybuilding aspect too. Is we didn't make anything.
We
doing
didn't.
that.
and the whole thing, man, was like, it's like watching a parade, and you're the star.
Right.
That's what it was like. Every time I go to a show, like this weekend when I walk into the arena, they gonna be like, Broadway, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
That's Broadway. Hey, man, that dude right there, still carrying that trophy around on my shoulder.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But sooner or later, I gotta get rid of that.
I mean, those accomplishments are
Forever.
proof of
Hard work.
time that you spent and hard work. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just tell people all the time, like, there's got to be a moment where you say in your life that you got to step back and chill.
Is that now?
That's been now, bro.
Yeah.
That's been now for a long time with me because I don't know, man. Just I know how I felt when I was on, and I know how I feel now, and I feel so much better now.
You still look great though. How old are you now?
I would say 48, 58.
Wow.
Wow, man.
You
Amazing.
know,
If you could go back and give yourself advice, when you were just about to get going, right before you're moving to California and all of that stuff, what advice would you give to somebody who's about to take that journey in the same field? Because it'll probably translate outside of it.
do it now because you don't want to wait and try to do it later. Do it while the risk is not as great at a young age than it would be at an older age.
Yeah, it's really a young man's sport.
It's a
Or
young
person.
I mean, that
sport.
translates to anything.
Yeah.
If you're about to do a thing, don't wait till you're ready. Just start doing it because you ain't gonna be ready when you start.
Yeah.
You gotta start doing it so you can be ready.
So and it goes back to what you was asking me about the comedy stuff. Them that thought that if you would ask me what would be the only thing that hold me back, me being older and coming in, it's like coming into a ball game and there's 2 minutes left in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming in on something that I probably should have done 15, 20 years ago.
Well, it's that quote. It's when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago or today?
I thought about this last night though with with comedy, because I'm getting older too. I'm 42. I'm not a young guy, and I started acting at 33, actually 32, and so I had that, which is very similar to comedy. They're very closely related. So I wasn't, when I started comedy, I wasn't just starting that type of performance art from scratch. Yeah, I had the acting background, which helped.
Right.
But also with comedy or any kind of performance art where it's you using your body as the instrument as the performer. I think there's one aspect of it where you can start performance art later in life because you've been using this instrument your whole life.
Right.
So it's not like you're learning how to play an instrument like a guitar or a piano, or you're learning how to hone yourself into a certain art form, a craft. Right. So I don't think it's ever too late to start with something like, as long as you have your mind.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I started performing when I was 35, but I grew up in it, loving it. I studied it. It's just a thing that I can see it. And I don't know, there's just something about it. I wanted to consume the way you felt about bodybuilding is how I felt about comedy. I've been obsessed with it almost my whole life. And I didn't start till I was 35. And I have friends who started when they were 15, 16 years old, and now they're, 20 years in. And so then there's a piece of me that thinks, well, what if you would have started it when you were 18? And I think about that, and I think, well, how good would I be now? I would be fucking incredible, but I'd probably be dead too. You know what I mean? I started it when I was supposed to start it. Right. I think that's how everything goes. You start it when you don't do it till you do it. You know what I mean? Right. And I woulda, coulda, shoulda. I could have started in my teens. I could have started in my 20s. I had to have those years to be a parent and to grow up and be a human. If I'd have gone on stage when I was 18, I'd have been wild as fuck. Yeah. I'd have said some things that I wouldn't have meant any of them. You know what I mean? And my opinions have changed 1,000,000% in the meantime. So, yeah, I mean, I think don't waste time. On the day that you want to do it, start doing it. And when I tell people that are getting into it, I'm like, your job for the first year is just to show up. You ain't got to learn nothing. You ain't got to be funny. You ain't got to be good at it. You ain't got to fucking teach nobody nothing. You don't got to explain nobody nothing. All you got to do is show up for a year. And if you do that for a year, if you can get through the good ones, because that's just as hard as getting through the bad ones, because the good ones will fuck you up. They make you think, I'm better than I am. And then I promise you ain't. And then the bad ones, you feel real shitty. That's honest. And I think if you can get through both of those, then you have enough experience to make a conscious decision. Is this the thing I'm supposed to do? And then you can start learning things on purpose. And then you realize you learned a bunch of shit because you were just there. Right. And I think it's the same for anything that I've ever done, is just showing up every day for a year first. And then I start trying to pick it apart and really figure it out. So, if you try to do comedy, you ain't too old. Ain't nobody too old, You're as old as you're going to be on the day you do it the first time.
Yeah, that's right.
We got a few minutes, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah. Anything else you want to ask?
No. Good conveison, man.
Yeah.
I super appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys inviting me, man.
Glad we finally got you in.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Hey, Daniel couldn't be here. He's, it's entrepreneurial life.
Yeah, busy business.
Always busy.
I hear you, man.
And I don't know anybody busier than him.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
So online, are you online? Where can people find you? You got
Instagram, Facebook, and me and Donald Trump, we on Twitter now. So.
That's Elon Musk.
Yeah. So we back on again. But Facebook, Michael Broadway, IFBB Pro. On Instagram is Body by Broadway _IFBB Pro.
And that's is that following you personally and also your business accounts?
Business, yes, sir.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
And you can just Google his name if you want to see some of his competition photos.
Yeah, and I mean, look, if anybody's looking to get trained and they don't choose you, they're obviously making a fucking mistake. You know what I mean? I'm not even talking to you. I just look. As soon as you walk in the door, I was like, I gotta exercise or something.
Yeah, and if you do live in the triad, don't be intimidated because he's a bodybuilder. He actually trains a lot of normal people that just want to have a healthy lifestyle.
Exactly.
And he's a great trainer.
Yeah. Enjoy my work.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. If you're enjoying the work and you're making a difference in the life, and the thing you said earlier about getting joy out of watching other people succeed, I think that's, for me, that's a big thing in my life. Is I look for those people. You find those people. You typically you're in the right place. You got a good team.
Yeah.
Well, always a pleasure, brother.
I appreciate you, man.
Glad to have you on, man.
Appreciate you. Love you, man.
Love you too, dude. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. See you next week. Bye, guys.